Thanks for joining us for Data 3's Juice IT Digital. My name is Matt Davis, Senior Solution Consultant from Adobe, and today we're going to talk about Document Cloud and how it can help in today's environment. Adobe Document Cloud was formally launched in 2015, but its core solutions have been delivering customer value for years. Adobe Acrobat DC is the core of the Document Cloud. For more than 28 years, Adobe Acrobat and PDF, a global standard that Adobe invented back in 1991, have been the leaders in the secure digital documents. Acrobat DC is the culmination of those years of experience and the focal point for the intelligence and services we bring to Document Cloud moving forward. To date, Adobe has over 1,000 patents in document solutions alone. That innovation has helped put Acrobat Reader on over 1 billion devices worldwide. Adobe Sign has been part of the Document Cloud portfolio for almost 11 years. And it is used by organizations all over the world, not only for fast legal e-signatures that accelerate revenue, but also for creating digital workflows that accelerate your entire business and the hundreds of document processes that power that business. Together, Adobe Acrobat DC and Adobe Sign have been designed to go together to create end-to-end digital workflows that customers tell us are critical to their digital transformations and critical to helping them become more competitive, especially in these unprecedented times of 2020. So let's talk about today's challenges. Well, the entire world has been disrupted. With the heightened concerns around COVID-19, businesses around the globe are having to change the way they operate. Rapidly changing circumstances are straining legacy paper-based face-to-face processes, particularly as businesses and employees need to conduct business remotely. What's more, content velocity has increased, with many organizations scrambling to ramp their digital business or simply share official updates with their customers or internal employees. And this is where we believe Adobe can help. Adobe Document Cloud helps organizations thrive. It helps them deliver 100% digital experiences with PDF documents and workflows. The Document Cloud portfolio consists of desktop apps, the free Acrobat Reader, Acrobat Standard, and Pro DC. It also has mobile apps to help you work in today's modern world. PDF services extend Acrobat DC into web functions and also integrations into other systems. Now, we also have e-signatures, courtesy of Adobe Sign. We'll talk about that a little later. And we have integrations and workflows backed by artificial intelligence, AI. Adobe Sensei is our AI. And these integrations and workflows aren't necessarily Adobe's. Pretty much we're working with a lot of line of business systems today across the board. This brings some Acrobat features and Adobe Sign services to where your employees need them the most, whether they be working in Dynamics or SharePoint, working in Aptus or Ariba, working in Salesforce, Workday, many other lines of business systems. In fact, we support about 70 plus systems. So wherever your employees are, we can bring Acrobat to where they need it the most. Adobe Document Cloud was re-engineered to deliver end-to-end digital experiences. So the moment you create, to the moment you collaborate, to the moment you execute. A full end-to-end cycle, not a series of disparate point products. So the moment you create something, that could be using Adobe Scan to digitize paper into PDF format, or creating a PDF from an Office document or an existing PDF, or it's going to come from a line of business system that's going to generate some sort of PDF of record. Now it comes time to collaborate that PDF with your colleagues, co-workers, partners, etc. And you can do that in either an ad hoc way or perhaps it's a more structured, formal way of doing that. We can use two methods to do this. Number one is we can do this standalone on the Document Cloud. Literally go into Acrobat, use the send for comments features and have a near real-time conversation about the file, capturing important analytics about the comments and then creating all the changes that lead to the final document. Or we can actually use Microsoft SharePoint using the SharePoint integration with Acrobat DC's PDF services that are available inside the Microsoft portfolio, and we can do it from a SharePoint environment, and we'll show you that a little later. And now comes time to execute that document. So I could send it out using Acrobat DC or one of Acrobat DC's PDF services, or I could throw into Adobe Sign, our e-signature sign service. In that case there, I could put it into a discoverable workflow, send out a single document or a multitude of documents to either one signer or approver, or a multitude of signers and approvers. Once the transaction is complete, then I have a legally binding record in a court of law in Australia and New Zealand. So let's take a look at a common problem today. I'm at home and I don't have a scanner. My document is paper, or I need to fill out this form. Well, Adobe has a solution. The Adobe Scan, the free iOS or Android app. It turns your phone into a powerful digital scanner, and it recognizes text with OCR technologies and cropping courtesy of artificial intelligence. So you can move this scanner to turn anything into digital: receipts, notes, documents, photos, business cards, invoices, whiteboards, and more. It's perfect for working at home. So let's take a look at Adobe Scan in action. Here I am on my iPhone. I'm simply going to launch the app and go to the home screen with my previous documents. Let's move over now to the camera, and we can look at the 4 things we can do. Now let's go past document. So we can do a whiteboard. We can then also scan in a form and have AI detect the form fields. We can do a document, we'll come back to that. And we can do a business card and load that into my contacts on my iOS or Android. AI technology captures the edges, it does the focus, and then takes the shot for me. Then it asks me if I'm happy with this shot. I could retake it, but I kind of like this one. So let's open that up, and there's a variety of things I can do. I can add more pages, I can reorder. Let's have a look at the cropping. So go into the crop tool here, and as you can see, AI has done a pretty good job, but I can always override that. Simply move it around, reposition, click on the little tick button, and away I go. By default, Adobe Scan also applies the right color mode. In this case, there's done an auto color on my scan. We also have a grayscale, original color, and a whiteboard that removes those latent images in the background. Now, if I spilled something on my document, I can always go into the cleanup mode here. And what I can do now is simply paint away. So over here, maybe I have a coffee stain, simply just paint it away, hit the tick button, and away I go. Now it's time to save this PDF. So what I'm going to do now is move up to the top and hit the save button. And automatically it goes into recognizing text, saving the PDF, and then it uploads to the Document Cloud, where I can now use it in a variety of other areas. Let's tap the icon to open it up in Adobe Scan. So we can open it here, or I can close this app down and move over to Acrobat Reader. Now in here, we can go to the Document Cloud. I go into my Adobe Scans, and then I find that particular scan, tap on that to download it, and then to open it on the device. And then I could do a multitude of other things here. I can edit it, I can comment, or I could use the free fill and sign. Not legally binding, but I can still fill out the form and sign it with a signature. I'm just going to use a simple text box. So I'm simply going to tap to position on the page, type away my text, make the font smaller or bigger. And once I've completed that, I can then move it anywhere I want to. So if I zoom in here, I can tap on the text box and just simply move it around to where I'm happy. Now I could go through and sign it, use radio buttons, etc. But in this case here, I was going to save this back to the Document Cloud as part of my little documents journey. We just saw Fill and Sign, Acrobat Reader, and Adobe Scan. Let's move to the 4th app now. Let's move over to Adobe Sign. So here I want to get a legally binding signature. So let's launch Adobe Sign. Let's go into Send for Signature. I'm going to go into my documents. Now I could go into Document Library, or I could go directly into Scans. In this case, I'll go Document Cloud and then into Scans. Find my file, there it is, and hit Done to attach it. Now what I want to do now is I want to send it to a recipient. So here's my recipient who's going to be signing this particular document. I hit the Done button. I give them a personalized message, say hello. And then what I can do now is I can actually load up the signature fields and form fields using my mobile device. Now I'm going to show you that a little bit later in our sign demonstration. And here are the QR codes if you'd like to try Adobe Scan. Let's look at some common document problems. I want to collaborate on this document, but my colleague only has a mobile phone. This information is personal, and I probably need to do some redaction, and I need to combine 8 different files to make one PDF. This is where Acrobat can help. Acrobat is the complete PDF solution. Nearly everybody needs to work with PDFs to create, read, edit, and convert. It's integrated into the Microsoft portfolio, extending your capabilities, and you can access PDF documents across devices, whether you're at work, on the move, or these days, working from home. We can take advantage of password security, read Microsoft information protection, and integrate with some other services like Google, SharePoint, and OneDrive. And Acrobat helps every persona get their work done, whether it's HR preparing recruitment, onboarding, and these days perhaps offboarding documents, whether it's C executives who no longer got someone to do their work and have to do it themselves, doing a lot of editing, accessing documents across devices. Sales teams who can no longer do face-to-face meetings or hand over paper contracts and need to work digitally. IT and procurement who need to distribute internal forms and training resources for people working in isolation. And legal who need to digitise paper, collect documents into one, redact, and also search for long-form content. Let's launch Acrobat and have a look at its new Touch UI. Now, when I'm searching for tools, we can take advantage of here as search. So I'm looking for something to edit, maybe looking for something to redact. Perhaps I'm doing an accessible document with accessibility, or perhaps I want to do something like a send for signature or send for Adobe Sign. I can find all the tools I need within the modern interface. From the home screen, I can access all my files across any commercial storage, whether it be from Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, or SharePoint. So whatever my team or teams are using, I can access all those. Also have access to Document Cloud. If I want to use my own storage, I can access files from my computer. I can see files shared by me for review or sending, shared by others, and also any agreements I might have in Adobe Sign. Now, on the off chance I don't have Acrobat Desktop, I can always go down and use the browser version, so signing in with my single sign-on or Adobe IDs, and here I can access a variety of tools which are PDF services. So I can convert, edit, share, sign, and other functions within the Cloud app itself. Now I have this document I need to edit, and then I need to collaborate with my colleague, but my colleague only has a mobile device. So I'm going to move over into edit mode, and I'm going to make my changes. So perhaps I'm going to change out some text over here, paste in a brand new paragraph, or use a variety of the tools at the top. So I could add new text, add an image, I could add a link like a hyperlink or something of that nature, crop pages, headers and footers, watermarks, and a lot more. Things like Bates numbering. Now, I've done all my changes, so now comes time to collaborate. So I'm going to move over now to the send for comments, and I'm going to collaborate with my colleague. I'm simply going to put in their email address, and we can put feature restricted domains on these as well. I'm going to put in a quick little message, what I want them to do, and I'm going to put in a deadline on here. So let's add a deadline. Let's say I need this by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Fantastic. Quickly save that one. And I might want to do a reminder. Now I know the phone's next to their head, so how about we remind them tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. No, it's be a bit kinder. We'll make it 9 o'clock. Right, I quickly save that. And now what I can do is send this off for an almost near-time collaborative review. So off it goes, and what I can do is I can close it down or comment. So somewhere on planet Earth is my colleague, and all he has is a mobile device with Acrobat Free Reader or just a common browser. He's able to go into my invitation, open the collaboration up on Document Cloud, and then he can actually comment on this particular collaboration. In this case here, we're going to put a little post-it note on there. So a little note. Let's give it a little bit of a context to that one. Has legal approved this? And we can also use other tools. We can underline, strike through, we can highlight, and in this case here, we're going to draw a circle. I can change the color, I can change the lines, etc. Now, once that's done, let's add a comment into here. So in this case here, highlight this, and I can also provide a little @ symbol there to notify the right person who needs to do the work afterwards. So meanwhile, back at my place, I'm starting to get some comments coming in near real time. So over here, I'll action this and do a little @ symbol and post that back as part of the collaboration. And I'll give a little reply back here that it's all approved by legal. Now with the comments, if you're dealing with complex collaborations where there's multiple users, we can use filters. So I can use all sorts of filters here to see statuses, color coded, and I can also view by things like author, date, type, and there's some other stuff on the side as well. Now once that's done, I'm going to close out of this. I'm done for the day, so I'm going to close it down. I can always reopen it, and let's go back to my collaborator. So back with my collaborator, the first of my comments appears. They get a little notification and the comment appears in the comments panel. A couple of seconds later, they're going to receive my second comment saying all is approved by legal. And we can see at the top left there, you can see the little active bar showing the icons of who's involved in the collaboration. Once I'm finished, I can actually click I'm done, or I can come back to it a little later and it's saved back to my Document Cloud. So once my collaboration is done, how do I compare my old versions? Well, I'm going to search for the Compare tool. Here we go in the menu. I'm going to open that up. And what I can do easily is I can select the file. In this case, I'm going to take it from my computer, desktop, and I'll choose the V1. That's where I started. And we're going through a couple of rounds of collaboration. So let's go find the V3. And what I can do now is I can compare that to the original. So we go open. Now I can compare text only, or I could have some settings there. There's some base ones there, but perhaps I want to include annotations. Now what I can do now is do a compare function. It's going to analyze the file, and here's my summary. There's been 4 total changes. As you can see, there's been 2 text replacements, 1 styling, 1 annotation. So let's click on the first change, some text. Let's look at the second one, some more text, and you can see there's been some styling from green to blue. So now my document's complete and approved, let's get this thing signed. Now we're going to use the free fill-in sign. Now this is not legally binding like Adobe Sign, but we can still do something for those low-level signatures. I simply click, and over here I'm going to add in a text field. So put my name, I can make the font bigger, I can move it around, or I can make it one of those government forms, maybe not. Now next thing I want to do is add another field. It could be a radio button, so I can click on that. Or I can simply go back into, choose it, type out my address, and away we go. Now comes time to put a signature block in, so I'm going to sign. Now I'm going to add a signature. Now, a couple of ways we can do it. We can use a system font, type that out. And if I don't like the look of that, I can change it to a couple of styles. So perhaps I like the one above it, looking a little better. I prefer to draw, so perhaps I'm going to draw my signature using a mouse, stylus, or pen, or I can upload an image that I already have of my signature. Let's do that. So that'll do fine. Apply that, and now what I can do is apply that as my signature, and that is remembered for next time. Lastly, let's just fill out the rest of the form fields in here. So once again, I put my name in there. Away we go. Fill out title, phone, dates, and we are done. So there's a couple of use case examples of Adobe Acrobat DC, the complete PDF solution. Now let's change gears a little and look at Adobe Sign. So let's set the scene. I need this contract signed by all parties today. Who has not signed need this done. And nobody knows where Frank is, but he needs to sign. And here's where the Adobe Sign service can help. Sign anything, anywhere, with anyone. Digitally transform your documents' execution processes and workflows to improve operational efficiency whilst delivering a better customer experience. How does your brand look? And keep your business moving by digitally routing, managing and tracking documents for signing from work, on the move, or perfect for working from home. And sign securely on any device. Now before we continue the demo, let's check out our little video.
What kind of magic? What kind of magic?
And play that funky music, Sign Boy. Let's talk about personas for Adobe Sign. So HR, internal approvals of signatures, especially important for recruitment, onboarding, and unfortunately these days, offboarding. For C-suite and executives, the ability to send and sign contracts, NDAs and other legal documents, or just internal approvals when working from home. For your sales teams, the ability to sign internal sales plans and also to send, manage and sign contracts to secure revenue even faster. IT and procurement, to send, manage and sign contracts and also to distribute internal forms and requests when people are working from home. And finally, for legal, to sign internal documents, checking audit trails of contracts, and also to send, manage and sign legal documents. So let's show you how easy it is to use the Adobe Sign service. So I've logged in, and on the home screen, I can see all my functions. Let's request a signature, and the first thing I want to do here is add in my particular PDF file. Now I can bring it in from OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox or Box, or I could choose a template that already exists inside the system, or I can add it from my computer, or a combination of all. In this case here, I'm going to navigate and find my particular file. So there is my contract. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to send this and add the form fields. So with that added, I could always add more files. So I might have another 2 to go on. But in this case here, let's set up the signing route. So I'm going to add the signature fields and let's set up the proper process. So I'm signing first. Now the second person is going to be my customer. We'll take that email address there. Now what is my customer? Are they a signer, an approver, an acceptor, a certified recipient, a form filler, or a delegate? And do I want any second level approval? Email, passwords, social, or an extra charge, a phone. And I can also send a private message or add a recipient group, i.e. one of the directors needs to sign out of the 5. Once that's done, it moves on. I can easily reorder these and I can put it back. So I can put them in numbers or just simply drag them around, sign sequentially or parallel. Now let's choose a template. Okay, over here, and that allows me to customize that. So in other words here, let's put in Hello Matt, and then that's personalized, ready to go out the door. Now let's move over here. So I could password protect this. I'm also going to set a completion deadline. I'm going to say 30 days, and I can set a reminder like every business day, etc. And I can choose the UI from one of 32 different languages. So if I'm dealing with freelancers from Indonesia or Thailand or Korea, I can handle those. Right, so let's submit the form. It's going to upload now to the Adobe Sign service. And now I'm going to add all my signature fields in. And this is easy to do, just a simple drop and drag. So over here, without doing anything, let's have a look at what we got. We've got some signer fields. We've got some other fields in here like titles and companies. We've got some data fields and also some more fields like file attachments and hyperlinks, which are handy. I'm going to simply drag on a text field. I can easily resize the field. If I double click on that, I can bring up the properties. In this case there, it shouldn't be me signing, it should be the customer. So I change it to the customer. I'm going to make it a required field. Let's put in here a little bit of a tooltip to instruct them what to do. Now I can also play with the appearance, so the font, the size, the positions, and also I can clone fields and copy fields to make it easier if I got similar types of fields. Now, to make it easy, I'm going to change over on the right hand side to signer number 2, which means any field I drag on will now be by default applicable to that role. So let's size that up. I'm going to use the align from the top, and we'll also use the align vertically to get the form fields the same, so I can use some of those nice little alignment features. Moving down, I'm going to need a signature field. So I simply just click on signature, I drag it, I can grab the little corners and I can resize that. So I need a little bit deeper, a little bit wider, and it's easy to do. I'm probably going to need a name. There we go. Now I'm going to drag that in and get that one right. Drag that across. Now let's go pick up a title. Let's go pick up, right. Let's pick up a date. And I'm going to do a custom field here for phone number. And I'm going to apply some logic. So let's do a garden variety text field. There we go. If I double click on that, I then get the properties. Now in here, it's going to be a required field. I'm going to put my tooltip, of course. Now on the validation, I'm going to go for a number. Now I'm going to put some in here. I'm going to put 7 nines, which means it's before, and then I'm going to put 9 nines. That means I'm looking for an 8-digit number or a 9-digit number and no more. So that means I'm putting a phone number in, it'll be a landline of 8 digits, or it'll be a mobile phone of 9, and I'm going to mitigate any risk. Let's select all these, and let's actually align those all, make them the same size. Let's do a vertical alignment on it, make it all nice and cool. And then I've got my Signer 2 fields ready to go. So now it's time to do my fields. Let's change back to Signer 1 on the roll, and any fields I drag on will respect that. Going to need a signature block from me. Select the first one, select my new one. Let's do the resize and align from the top. Then just drag on my other fields. So I move down to my fields. I need a date. Yep. I'm going to need a name. I'm going to need a title. Now I've already done the work on the phone one. So how about we click on the phone? And what I'm going to do there is let's copy that field. So I'm going to copy the field. I'm going to change that to me as the signer. Notice it highlights. And then I'm going to drag that in position. So that way we've got that business logic in that field. And that's it. We send for signature. Now I'm signing first, so the system recognizes it. I'm going to click to add my signature, or I can use a system font. I can draw with a mouse, stylus, or pen. I can upload an image, which I'm going to do, and then I can go through now and fill out some stuff. Notice it's remembered me from my profile. But in this case there, put the phone number in, and away we go. Now throughout the sign process, I can actually manage this from the Manage tab. So I simply flick on over to Adobe Sign. It goes into the Manage tab here where I can see what's going on. I can see that it's the recipients, I can cancel it, I can hide the agreements, and I can see what status it is with each of the recipients. So very, very easy to use, Adobe Sign. Let's look at Adobe's integrations into the Microsoft portfolio. So Adobe Sign is integrated across the entire stack. In fact, Adobe is the preferred e-signature solution for Microsoft. Now in here, we also have Acrobat. Acrobat via PDF services. In other words, if you log into Acrobat as a named user and you're logging into Office 365, we then bring Acrobat functions to where your people need them. So here we are in SharePoint. Now what I can do now is I can click on my PDF and I can open this up using the Document Cloud's PDF viewer. So I click on here, open the document up, and the browser comes to SharePoint. I can view bookmarks, I can view the thumbnails, and I can start to have a collaborative conversation because this file is stored on SharePoint, not Document Cloud. So here I put a post-it note on there, I can draw, I can do strike-throughs, and I can save natively back to SharePoint without even leaving. So that's all done. Let's now move over to SharePoint, and I can actually use SharePoint's internal sharing functions to send this around and get that near-time collaboration going. Let's merge some documents. So over here I'm going to select 4 Office formats, and what I'm going to do is use Combine Pages by Adobe. I can shuffle them around, delete page 8, rotate, and once again I'm going to natively rename this and save this natively back onto SharePoint. There we go, all saved. The fidelity is looking good. We've done a lot of work around fidelity with Microsoft. And then I can go back in and move that to where I need it to be. Refresh my SharePoint browser and simply move it into the folder where I'd like it to be located. Now it's time to transact this document. So let's go to my contacts and I want to send a contract to Brian. So over here I select Brian. I can go to Adobe Sign, which is also baked in. So over here I'd navigate down to where I made that PDF. There it is there. I'm going to go down to Attach. And when I attach this, notice there's the Adobe Sign interface we saw just before. So in here, I can easily add my recipients, my workflow, add my messages, templates, files, completion deadlines, etc. And we can do the whole Adobe Sign experience from right within SharePoint. So in this case here, all Acrobat functions and Sign functions are done within SharePoint. I can even use Power Automate to automate Teams notifications. And when the contracts are finally signed, I've got the blue ribbon there, which is a long-term validation bar showing everything's good. And we've got that lovely audit trail. So now I have a legally binding document in Australia and New Zealand. And that's the power of Adobe Sign and Acrobat integrated into Microsoft. And that's just one of many out-of-the-box integrations with 70+ line of business systems. No coding required, no need to switch between systems, and no hidden integration or development fees. And for Acrobat, we just released our integration into Google Drive. So what you've seen here is how Document Cloud can help. Whether it's across mobile devices or your desktop, we have the tools. If you like what you saw today and you want to see more, please contact your Data 3 rep. And thanks for having us today. Take care.